Welcome back, week 3. Are the first 2 episodes up on YouTube?
Yes.
All right, the first 2 episodes are up on YouTube. Finally, so it's September 19th. So whenever this one goes up, it'll be the most recent one to date of what's available. But
Yeah.
there's a lot to talk about. How was your weekend? It's Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
It's not.
No, it's Thursday.
It's Thursday. Dang it.
Pause.
When did that happen?
We were home.
What a long week
I
it's
was
been
home.
this Thursday.
Yeah.
We were home. Yep. Dude, I was in Kansas City last week. I was just actually thinking
A
about
week
this earlier.
ago, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot that was last week. So Wednesday I went to Kansas City early in the morning, and then I was in Kansas City driving around everywhere there. And then I went back to Springfield. When did I come
Friday?
back to Springfield? I came back, yes, Friday, I think like Friday afternoon.
Mhm.
And then I went to St. Louis that night, came back to Springfield that same night. And then I went to Chicago, just like the south side of Chicago. It was like towards like by Indiana.
Mhm.
I went there Saturday morning, like early Saturday morning. And then from there went home. And then so home in Waukegan, so it's like another hour back north past Chicago. And then I came back down to Bolingbrook the next morning for the Live Golf event.
And then you drove from there.
And then I drove from there, from Live Golf that Sunday to
School.
back to Springfield. Yeah, now I'm here. I have not touched my car since. It's Thursday. I never want to touch my car again. I'm just kidding. I love my car. I love driving. That was actually a lot of fun. That week it was a very tiring week, but dude, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, you were like on go mode.
Dude, yeah.
You were literally like that TikTok sound. Bus. Club. Another club. Another club.
For real. No, okay, so yeah, we have a lot of stuff to get into. We got UFC 306, Noche UFC. We got a lot to say about that. Canelo versus Berlanga, that was a very good. I'd say it was a very good card. I was very happy with it. In
Except
comparison,
for
except for
Danny.
oh yeah, the Danny Garcia fight, yeah. In comparison to what I saw from the UFC, like I said, we'll get into. I was very happy with that card. I was at Live Golf. We're gonna get into that. We have a couple of updates on the house settlement from the NCAA and their settlement on the house and the 2 other cases that are paired up with that in the California court, I think. And of course, we're gonna start with our Prairie Star update, but let's just update with our own lives. You know what's going on. So yeah,
It just gets real deep.
yeah. So you know what I've been thinking? No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah. Last week I went to a law school conference and that was pretty cool. It was in Kansas City, the Mink Law School Fair, I think it's called. And Mink was an acronym for Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, I almost said Kentucky, Kansas. It's like all the law schools from there, and then a bunch of other law schools were there. I got to talk to a few reps, got some business cards. And this is just a piece of advice for anyone that is interested in going to like higher education or education past your bachelor's, or even if you're coming into college or something like that, and you're talking to recruiters. This is something I learned very early on in my like my high school days. And that's if you ever get a business card, or you ever make an impression, or you feel like you made an impression with someone, like a recruiter or someone that represents a school that you're interested in, and they give you a business card or an email, send them an email afterwards. Say thanks for connecting with me, thanks for talking with me. Just something that keeps your name in their head, and that goes a long way. I'm telling you. Yeah, I did that for a couple of schools that I talked to, and then I saw the Chiefs Stadium. That was cool.
Oh yeah.
It was empty. It's right next to the Royals Stadium where the Royals play. And my hotel was right next to both of them, so that was pretty cool.
I liked the view from your hotel. You sent us a picture.
Yeah, it wasn't my view from my room.
But
Wait, no,
from the
that was the first hotel in Kansas. I stayed in 2 different hotels in
Oh.
Kansas City. Yeah, the first one, yeah, that one with the balcony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was cool. That one was the
Right.
one right by the Chiefs Stadium. And then the next night I stayed in a hotel that was closer to like the downtown area. Cause dude, honestly, I was talking about this with someone from Kansas City, and I was like, yeah, their stadium is like in the middle of nowhere. And they were like, what? No, it's not. Like that's like where stuff is. I'm like, no, there's nothing there. But I also have to consider that I come from an area where like Chicago, where everything is around Wrigley, everything's around Soldier, even like what's it called? It's not Comiskey Park, where the White Sox play. U.S. Cellular, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's stuff around, like there's a city around it. There's like no civilization around the Chief Stadium / where the Royals play, the Royals, whatever, ballpark. Yeah, they were like, yeah, no, there's like a McDonald's. I was like, what? Yeah. And then that evening I went to a comedy club there. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the show was okay. I honestly ended up leaving a little early. The headliner was kind of meh. But it was a cool comedy club. They had like a bunch of pictures of guys that have been there. There's a bunch of people that we know. Like Shane has been there. Andrew Dice Clay's been there. Andrew Schultz, Akash Singh. But yeah, and then we'll get back into our weekend later. All right, Prairie Star update. What's going on with the Stars? The Stars. There's actually a lot going on with the Stars. A lot of things are in full swing today. The women's volleyball team heads to
Kansas.
Pittsburgh, Kansas. Wait, that's the city? I thought they were listing places. Like they're going to Pittsburgh, then they're going to Kansas. Nah, they're going to Pittsburgh, Kansas for the PSU. They were going to take on Emporia State for the first time in a decade. Whoa.
Dang.
What does that mean? I guess, yeah, we haven't played them in a decade.
Shout out. Good luck, I guess.
Yep.
Well, good luck.
Yeah. They're 7-1 right now, dude. They are whooping.
So good luck to the other team.
Yeah, good luck to the other team. Yeah, now for real, good luck to the other team because we have, like I said on the first episode, we have some serious weapons this year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Arini hasn't even hit full stride yet. She's bound to go off one of these days. McKenna's a beast. We still have Gabby, who's really young and she's got a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of strength and we got a lot of firepower on that team. So, yeah, good luck to the other team. UIS is coming off a successful 3-1 performance at the Kentucky Wesleyan Invitational in Owensboro, Kentucky. So, I forget one of their more recent games, too. They had a reverse sweep against a team, which was awesome. It's cool to hear. So, they were down 2-0, came back and won 3-2 in sets. So,
shout out.
Yep. Then tomorrow, Friday the 20th at 3 p.m. the softball team versus Hart will take on Heartland. I thought that is a home game. They're gonna be at the UIS softball complex. And then at 5, women's soccer takes on Truman State. That should be a fun game. A GLVC conference game. Oh, that's also youth night. What does that mean?
Children.
No.
Nah, probably like, I don't know. Maybe they sign autographs.
Kids get in free. Oh yeah. I
Women's
remember.
basketball does that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so the Prairie Stars will host the GLVC opponent at Quaney Stadium for the first time this season, marking the beginning of a split home and away weekend. The UIS Prairie Stars enter the matchup fresh off a 2-0 shutout victory against the William Jewell Cardinals, which was the first win of Scott Myers' tenure as the head coach of UIS women's soccer. Let's go Prairie Stars. What time is that game at? Tomorrow. Dang, no, I can't be there. I work.
What time is it at?
It's at 5. You gonna go? Ooh, actually, before we move on from that, let's backtrack real quick. You were at Luis's game?
Oh yeah.
The Parkside game?
Yeah.
Dang, I wasn't able to make it.
Shout out Luis.
Yeah, like we said, or like I said, I was in Kansas City. But tell me about it. What happened? How was it? How was the crowd? How did they play?
Who? Luis's team or us?
Everything, bro. Like
Luis's team, Loki. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they.
Luis came back for revenge.
Did he score?
I think one.
Are you serious?
I don't know. He assisted in 2 of them.
Jeez.
And then in the second one that he assisted in, it was me, Jose, Gabby, Cassie. It was like our people. We were clapping, and then the rest of
everyone was like,
yeah, the rest
They
of
just looked at
UIS
you
were
guys.
like, what? Wouldn't know what to tell you about how they played.
Well, I know we lost. I think what was it, 5-0?
Yeah. Well, at first we were up 1-0, and then when we got
Oh, we
there,
lost 5-1.
we got one though.
Yeah. Okay. Man, yeah. I'm kind of sad I wasn't there for that one. I really wanted to be there for that game.
Did you see that they made a Almost Friday picture of Luis?
Of Luis? Yeah, dude.
That was dope.
That was raw. Against us, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Okay, back to what's happening.
That was low-key useless. I didn't say anything about how they... Whatever.
Well, we know they lost, and we know they lost big to a D3 team, so we got some work to do.
Yeah.
But moving on back to what's happening tomorrow, Friday the 20th. At 7 p.m., the women's volleyball team will be taking on Pittsburgh State. Oh, that's PSU. But the Prairie Stars will face the host school at the PSU Regional Challenge, seeking victory against another opponent they hadn't played in several years. UAS last competed against PSU in 2011 and 2012, with PSU winning both of those matches. So we got to come back and get one back. We're down 2-0 against them. I think we got it. And then here we go. Men's soccer, 7:30 tomorrow, Friday. You got to be there for that one, dude. You gotta watch how the boys do. Start with the women's. I know they're gonna be able to handle business, but these boys, they need a little support. They're gonna look to secure their first win of the fall season when they host the Bulldogs at Quaney Stadium on Friday night. UAS is currently 0-1-2 following a 1-1 draw with William Jewell on Sunday. That's also youth night and the hashtag We Are Stars game, whatever that means. Anton scored the last game, helping us get the draw against William Jewell. That was his second goal of that week. Nice. Good job, Anton. Saturday the 21st at 8 a.m., the men's cross-country team will be at the John McKnowles Invitational. The Prairie Stars are set to resume their fall season after a weekend off. UAS delivered a commanding performance at the Hy-Vee Prairie Stars Invitational on Friday, September 6th. Yeah, that was a very good performance by them, which earned Isaac Cortez the GLVC Runner of the Week honors. Congrats. And then Sunday the 22nd, women's soccer are at Quincy at 12. Men's soccer are also at Quincy at 2:30. What else is happening? Allison Mary Mannion was named the GLVC Defensive Player of the Week last week. Congratulations to her.
Shout out.
2 standout performances on the road last week. The UIS Athletic Department celebrated its successful summer of youth programs. Over 1,200 young athletes participated in soccer, volleyball, basketball, and softball camps at UIS. Good job. Do it for the kids. And what else? Those are all the headlines about UIS. We read about soccer and volleyball and what they're doing. UIS basketball season tickets are now available for the 2024-25 season. $125 for adults, or $50 for UAS faculty and staff. General admission tickets are priced at $50 per person. So I think it's a pretty good deal. Let's try to be out at those games. Those are fun games to be at, the basketball games.
Yeah.
Especially when they're good games. Oh my God, that crowd gets into it. If we're blowing somebody out or we're getting blown out, it can get pretty quiet. But if it's a good game and we're neck and neck with somebody, it can get.
Yeah, they have pretty good games.
It can get exciting. But yeah, that's what's happening with the Stars. A lot of action from the Stars coming up pretty soon. Be at those games. Let's support them. And let's also support them vicariously when they are away, playing their away games later this week and next week. Now let's move on to some sport law. So what's happening with the house settlement? Honestly, so one of the big things that the judge sent the settlement back for was the language on the boosters and what they can do. But what does Yahoo Sports say? College leaders, attorneys gearing up to clarify but not amend language in House NCAA settlement to the booster language in the House NCAA settlement. So I guess what the judge asked for was more clarification on how this money can be spent, because one of the big issues was with the money that was going to be paid out to the schools. So it was like $2.78 billion that the NCAA and the big conferences had to pay out. But there was issue with how that was going to happen and essentially setting a limit on how much schools can spend, like creating essentially what would be a salary cap. And the judge wanted more clarification on, okay, so if you guys are paying, if you schools have this pool of like 20 to 30 million dollars to pay your student athletes. What, are you still going to be regulating boosters and how much they can pay their athletes or the
Mm-hmm.
athletes to go to play for a particular university? Because then in that case, that 20, 30 million dollars, if that's the cap given to the school, then through their boosters, that can be, exacerbated a whole lot more, or it gets to be a whole lot more. So the judge wanted clarification on that, but it sounds like to me the NCAA attorneys want to try to clarify, or what I think they're going to try to do is try to maintain as much control as they can and how much money is being paid out to the students by, I think that's why they made it so vague initially, was so that they can find a way to maintain control over stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. But
'Cause,
like this salary cap is cap on what they can pay to each athlete individual, like as a
mm,
whole.
it's $20 million for all of their
Everybody.
athletes. Yeah,
Okay.
so all of their athletes and what they would, I would assume, like most things in discussion here, it's gonna apply to mainly your profitable sports, like your D1 football, your D1 basketball, um, maybe baseball, and some bigger schools that have big baseball programs. But um, yeah, that could easily be eaten up by like a few players just on your football team.
Yeah.
Because you have guys like Shadur Sanders who's making like
Dude, he's number one getting paid.
through NIL.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So but that's the thing is that if he can prove that he's making this much money through NIL, that's how much profit or not profit. That's how much he's worth to these companies. Then what can he say to the school and how much he's worth to them and how much he should be getting paid?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think what the NCAA, I don't know if it's in their best interest to allow boosters to have reign over or have full reigns over how much they can pay their athletes, or if it's smart for them to try to like, you know, have their hands in it and like control that. Because at the end of the day, as much money as they can bring in to pay these students to play for their schools, I mean, I think any school is gonna want that.
Yeah.
Your Alabamas, your Tennessees are gonna have huge boosters with billions of dollars. Forget a $20 million cap. These boosters are gonna have hundreds of millions of dollars to spend on just a few athletes that they want at their schools.
Yeah.
So that could make things kind of difficult if you're trying to prevent a pay for play situation. But at the end of the day, I think that's what you know, with the way that they're moving, if they don't want to consider these students as employees of the university, at the end of the day, that's where it's going to end up being. It's going to have to come from somewhere, and it's going to be those boosters. Another thing I wanted to talk about with the house settlement is what was happening in Colorado. And there's like a very loose connection I actually have with this. And you and I have talked about what I'm going to mention. But plaintiffs in the Colorado lawsuit versus the NCAA asked the judge to deny the settlement for the house settlement. So the plaintiffs' attorneys in a federal antitrust lawsuit against the NCAA, not a part of the recent $2.78 billion settlement, filed a motion Friday asking the judge to deny the preliminary approval of the deal. Attorneys in Fentonat versus the NCAA, which is a case that was brought by the guy that Michelle Malis wants me to meet.
Oh.
Yeah, Garrett Borashes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize if I say that name wrong, but yeah, Garrett, he is part of this case in bringing the case against the NCAA. Garrett also brought the case against the
MLB.
the MLB in paying their minor league players at the least the minimum wage salary. So yeah, he's been a part of very big cases. This is another one. They had originally the NCAA, or not the NCAA, the petitioners that sued the NCAA in the House case. So House and Hubbard and Carter. Okay, so it's House, Hubbard, and Carter, and the petitioners or the team of petitioners for those cases wanted the Colorado case to come up to their court, and they would include themselves into the Carter decision because it's more linked to that. And I'm pretty sure it was the judge that said no, basically. Where is it? Yeah, in a separate antitrust case, Fentanyl versus NCAA, which is similar to the Carter case and was filed before it, poses a threat to the consolidated settlement. The NCAA wishes for Fenton's claims to be resolved as part of the Carter case, but Wilkin, the judge, declined to do so earlier this month, sending the case back to its home in Colorado. So this case was going to be a part of the House settlement case, but the judge said no and sent it back to Colorado. So that one's going to play out in the Colorado courts. Probably will become a bigger deal later because that's also a similar case dealing with antitrust. And their issue, so this Colorado case's issue was that the attorneys in this case, which filed in Colorado District Court, say that the agreement to 3 antitrust lawsuits facing the association and 5 major conferences is a settlement for just pennies on the dollar. So basically, they wanted more money. But yeah, that's really all I had. I kind of wanted to bring that up because I thought it was cool. You know, I loosely know of the person involved in that case.
What was her thing? The degrees of separation? Like something.
Oh yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, there's only 2 degrees of separation between he and I. Cool. And I hope to meet him soon. That's the plan. Hopefully sit down and have a cup of coffee with him. Talk about this case. Talk about probably talk about Alston. Talk about the NCAA, the MLB case that he was a part of. There's a lot of cool things that we could get into. And you know, if that ever does happen, of course I'll bring back notes on that conversation from a real sport lawyer that is very active right now in a lot of the stuff that we talk about. So that would be cool. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had for what was happening on the House settlement. All right, moving on. So now let's go back in time again. Let's go back to our weekend. And let's talk about all the stuff that went down in the sport world, because we got some.
We got some thoughts.
Yeah, we got some reactions. Where do you want to start with? You want to start with UFC? You want to go to boxing, golf, or you want to do my homework?
What do you want to do your homework? We can start with the UFC.
All right. So the UFC 306 happened. That was a card headlined by Marab versus Sugar Sean. And on face value, let's look at the card and, you know, what's your reaction? Did you have a good time watching the card? Forget the spheres, forget the advertising behind it, just the fighting itself.
Like
what did you think about it? Yeah.
The thing is,
or like from what you saw, because we were switching back and forth between boxing and this.
It was kind of underwhelming. I feel like there wasn't that many good fights. Yeah.
I heard the Zell Huber fight was good. I heard that one was good.
Which one won fight of the night?
Maybe that one.
Dude, it's because we watched one with the really ugly guy. That one was good. He won.
Oh,
it's like
Ronaldo Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was good. That one was the one right after the Irene Aldana where she got the really nasty cut.
Dude, that was so crazy.
That was gross.
That was so crazy. And then Dana White posted like an up close picture. I could see her nerves.
He's like, stop. That's crazy. That was I didn't see the Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez fight because what was happening during that one? Was that Caleb Plant that we were watching?
Canelo. Because
Brian,
yeah, they were before.
Yeah, they went on really early. Yeah. I guess they probably planned for it.
I guess.
To not interfere because they were literally like in the same city. They were down the street.
They were across the street.
They were across the street from each other. Brian Ortega got beat up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he lost by UD.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30-26, 30-27, 30-27. He got his butt whooped. And then he had the Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso fight. Yeah. I feel like Alexa Grasso came into that fight with so much anxiety. She looked like she was just all jumpy and she just didn't look,
ready to fight.
Yeah, ready to fight. She didn't look calm.
She kind of gave me the same vibe that Sean gave me. Like they weren't they didn't
locked in.
Yeah, as ready as, Well, it's a hard sport, but.
Yeah. Oh, and then Raul Rojas also he opened the prelims. Yeah. With the Chawiwis. So yeah, the fights themselves were even on a regular card, on a regular schmegular pay-per-view with not as much not as much hype, not as much antics, and what's it called? What's the word? It's like
Like marketing?
no, yeah, I guess not as much of that around it. On a regular schmegular card, it was an okay night of fights.
Mm-hmm.
Because even a lot of people are saying that the Sean versus Merab fight was boring. I wouldn't even say it was like super boring like that. It was. I think it was
I think it was boring for a Sean O'Malley fan.
a casual. You mean? Yeah, I agree. It was boring for a casual, a Sean O'Malley fan.
Because Marab pretty much dominated the whole fight.
Yeah,
They they weren't really like scrapping around like that, which
Yeah.
is kind of what I like to see. But
I saw I think it was an Instagram post. It was something like
all the takedowns.
people love mixed martial arts but hate it when they mix the martial
Oh
arts.
yeah, yeah. I just saw that.
Yeah, I think Merab had a great game plan. Sean didn't know he just got outstrengthed by Merab. Merab's just a beast. And he has so much cardio. That dude was
Dude,
like
he did not look tired. He was jumping around like.
dude, his what's it called? His post fight interview, dude. He did not shut up the whole time. He just
Yeah,
kept
he
talking and yapping about nothing.
He was just yapping. He was like, "And God, and I was a construction worker. And thank you.
He's like, I came from nothing, and then I'm
And
here.
Dana found me.
Dana found me, dude. It was crazy.
Construction for him.
I built this building. I built the sphere. Dude, he just wouldn't stop talking. He just kept going and
Yeah.
going and going and going and going and going and going. But yeah, that guy's got a tank for days. So okay fights. Now let's consider the fact that this was supposed to be a love letter
to
oh
the
my-
Mexicans.
to the Mexicans, to the Mexican culture. That's what Dana
to
White
the
said.
Mexicans.
That's what I was.
Literally word for word what Dana White said.
That's what I was promised from Dana White. And you know what I got?
Yes.
I got aggravated. Is what I got. I got a
Yeah.
bunch of AI images of what looked like
What did
What was-
Flacco say? A Fortnite?
yeah, it looked like
map?
a Fortnite map.
Yeah.
And like there was like a bunch of stuff that like resembled things, but it wasn't actually things. Like it kind of
Yeah.
maybe looked like Mexico City mixed with like an Aztec. What's it called?
That's what I'm saying. It was more like Aztec, like it was
Cartoons. Like it.
Yeah, it was a cartoon. It
Name-
was like a film. That's what they advertised it as, like a film of how
yeah, like at the beginning.
the culture
Yeah.
and like how it started and where.
And I feel like they
fighting
forgot
is
to keep showing us the film.
now. Yeah.
Like
We
I don't
also
even.
didn't watch like the entire thing.
Yeah, we were like
maybe-
we said. Yeah, we were switching between boxing and UFC.
Maybe it just so happened that every time we saw it, it was all AI images. But I feel like they could have done a lot more with, I don't know, maybe having a real shot of Mexico in the background.
A real shot of Mexico or a real
Even
like
just the mountains.
a Mexican champion.
Mexican champion, like real people, not just a cartoon.
Yeah, like I don't even think they mentioned one Mexican great. They didn't. Obviously, he's not gonna mention De La Hoya. They're not
I
buddies.
don't know. He said something about that. I was watching a podcast with Dana and Two Bears, and they were talking a little bit about that. I didn't finish watching it, but he said that he had to include Oscar De La Hoya, even though like he doesn't.
Because yeah, maybe
like,
we
get
missed
along
something
with-
there because
Yeah. But
That-
even then, if we tuned in that many times, and that's all we saw,
yeah,
we checked in pretty much like every fight.
yeah, like Julio should have had like a seat ringside
Yeah.
if this is a love letter to the
Was he
Mexican
at
culture.
the Canelo fight? No, right?
Um,
You know he has
I
his
would
own
assume-
reality TV show now.
nice. I would assume he was there. He's usually at Canelo fights. That's like his long lost son.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a lot of pandering and milking of a culture that I feel like they didn't even do their homework in.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just like, oh look, pretty screen,
Also-
bright skies, whatever.
Also, how they, besides making it just the advertising, he said that the card itself was gonna be.
Yeah,
like-
he promised a lot from that card,
Yeah,
and
and
I wouldn't even say for the card that it under delivered. I think it delivered quite adequately for the talent that was on it.
mm-hmm.
And you had one Mexican champ on there, 0 former Mexican champs on there.
yeah, but they were in the stadium.
Yeah, like they were there, dude. Why don't you just like
Yeah.
give them a
yeah,
night?
you and Brandon.
Yeah,
Brandon's fighting soon though. Well, Brandon, he didn't fight there because he was like he took a step back
yeah,
after his last fight, but he's gonna fight pretty soon again.
uh huh. And then I think Yair's actually injured.
Yeah, he might be injured.
But still,
We're like, you're injured, so what, bro? Get up in there
do
and
one,
fight.
one for the Mexicans.
Do a little elbow. What was it? How did he do the Korean zombie? With
Yeah,
the elbow?
yeah, the elbow from the back, or
Mm-hmm.
like a spinning elbow.
Quick little spinning elbow.
Yeah, but I mean, they made some money. They made $22 million at the gate,
Mm-hmm.
which broke the UFC 205 record of 17.7 million. UFC 205, you know which one was that one?
UFC 205. Do I know which one that was? No.
That was the one where Conor beat Eddie Alvarez to become double champ in MSG.
Oh no. You know what else? I've been meaning to watch. What was Nick Diaz's or Nate Diaz's last fight with the UFC? That it was like, which one's Nate? Which one's Nick?
Nate's the one that fought Conor.
Yes.
Nick is the older one, the
Okay,
bigger one.
Nate.
Nate's last fight, wasn't that against
I didn't watch that one.
Kevin Holland?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Where they switched it up because it was supposed to be Kevin Holland versus someone else, and then
Oh yeah,
Tony.
that whole
No,
fight.
wasn't it Tony Ferguson?
Yeah. Yeah, it might have been.
Because then they gave Kevin Holland what's his name? Chimaev.
Oh yeah, dude, that whole card fell apart in a blink of an eye.
They
bro, in
literally
an
just like
instant.
scrambled everything. They threw the names.
Everybody switched partners.
Yeah, everybody switched dancing partners.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did. They
Was
beat the
switching?
UFC 205 record, but I mean the tickets were also like $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like what 20,000 seater.
Yeah, something like that. Going off of the marketing, because I looked at my notes, we also have to remember that it started off as Noche UFC,
Mhm.
right? UFC 3 or whatever, Noche UFC, but then they added in the Riyadh season.
Yeah.
So that impacted, I would assume that impacted the marketing a lot. And just like the overall, like messaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're inserting a lot of money from somewhere. I assume they heavily funded it. Riyadh
Heavily
season.
funded.
They had a big hand in that. So I feel like that also definitely played a role in the disconnect of what it could have potentially originally have been. Maybe they had something different in mind, and then
Yeah.
someone with deeper pockets said,
Nah.
"Nah, let's.
Yeah, because I don't think Dana White is like that bogus that he was like, yeah, this is
enough."
Yeah.
Yeah. For what he promised, for sure. Did you hear that Dana White is going to be entering the boxing world soon?
No, what?
This was like right before we started recording, actually. I just saw this on Instagram. Dana White was in a press
Jamie,
conference.
pull up some help.
Look up, I think Michael Benson posted about it. That, that Dana said that he was going to be entering the world of boxing. Ultimate Boxing Championships.
Oh yeah, UFC boss Dana White has declared that he's now set to enter boxing. I don't know, like, bro, just make your money.
Well, because you got to think about it. Is he
I
a
don't know,
promoter?
because
Is he going to be
then-
promoting? Or is he going to be...
Yeah, that's another thing. Because it's just he's set to enter boxing, not him. He's not gonna be a boxer. He could be a promoter.
So, like, let's say they start a Ultimate Boxing Championship. Are they going to have their own championship? So they're not going to recognize the BC, the BA, the IBF? Like, are they, are they becoming their own sanctioning body?
Yeah.
Are they just promoting? Are they going to be recognizing the BC, the BA, the BO, and all them?
Yeah.
That's. I think that's going to be really interesting to see what happens, because this could create, if Dana does it that way, this creates a very, very interesting new world for boxing that is separate from the ABC organizations that have run amok for the past 100-something years,
Yeah,
So
that sounds more likely. I was imagining Dana White in boxing.
you thought this whole time you thought Dana was like,
I was like,
he's who's his first call out?
yeah.
He's like, John Jones, meet me in the
my
ring.
God. John Jones is gonna fight, and that's gonna be his retirement fight, more than likely.
Versus Dana White. No, you know what's crazy? I think Stipe said the same thing.
What?
That it's gonna be his last fight. Didn't he say that?
Yeah, but
Now John is saying it?
Jones had.
So why are they doing it for the title?
I have no idea, bro. And you know what? We went over this when I said that they were fighting recently, because you were like, "Oh, I thought they already just like didn't they already fight?"
No, I said didn't they already announce it?
Oh yeah, but then the shoulder injury, and then the other one got injured
So
too.
then Tom Aspinall took the interim championship.
And then he fought Drakus.
Yeah, no, Cyril Gane.
Nah,
Drakus Duplessis is a
is he
middleweight, bro.
different? Yeah.
Tom
Oh no, he
S.
fought. Who is he?
Drakus, yeah. Last fight. Curtis Blades, dude. How could we forget? But yeah, he fought Curtis Blades. He defended his interim title against Curtis Blades. Saying you defended an interim title kind of makes me mad, but anyway. Yeah, you have Tom Aspinall sitting and waiting. Yeah, he beat Pavlovich for the interim, not for the interim title. He beat Pavlovich and got the interim title. Defended the interim title against Curtis Blades, and then you have John Jones and Stipe Miocic, pretty much saying that this is going to be both of their last fights, regardless of who wins the championship. So then you're just going to elevate Tom Aspinall to world champion anyway, or do something stupid like make him drop the interim and then fight for the belt against someone. Probably Cyril Gane.
Dude, yeah. It says right here, Dana White said, Stipe Miocic, 100% retiring with John Jones fight. Interesting.
Yep. So that's annoying, but
Did you see that?
that's life.
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul are gonna fight
In November. Yeah, that was announced after
I
he
know,
got
but
something on a plane. He saw snakes on a plane and freaked out. No, I think he had was it a heart attack or something?
some like heart thing.
Yeah. But yeah, that was Noche UFC, and that's UFC in general. I guess we kind of start talking about the UFC. But yeah, that was our reaction to it. Average fights, under-delivered on what we were promised, but a success. You know, you can't say that it wasn't. Made a lot of money. Made a lot of people a lot of money. I'd be interested to see if they actually lost money on that because of how much they talk about.
Yeah.
How expensive it was. So, moving on to boxing. Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. Now you want to talk about how to build a card.
That one was great.
Well, actually, like the build of the card wasn't perfect, but I think the card itself was great. If we're going pound for pound just on fights, like the product that was given to the viewing audience, this card blew the UFC out the water. And I say that as a boxing elitist. Like I know, like I definitely prefer boxing over MMA, but I like the two sports, and I appreciate the beauty in both. But the thing is, this was just hands down a better card to watch, I think. And a lot of that had to do with the Caleb Plant versus Trevor McCumbee fight. That was an amazing boxing fight.
That one was good. I like that one.
Yeah, that was a very good fight. But you also had Stephen Colton on the card. You also had Raleigh Romero on the card.
Oh, I did see that he was on the card, but I didn't watch his fight.
Arislandi Lara versus Danny Garcia, which ended up being a pretty boring fight. This is what I was talking about when I just said that it wasn't built maybe perfectly.
Oh.
The Arislandi Lara fight versus Danny Garcia was the co-main to the Canelo versus Berlanga fight. That one should have went
before.
Yeah, but the thing is,
that should have been like at the start. Well, it's because Danny, like they both kind of have some level.
Yeah, they both have some drawing power attached to their name. But the thing is, this was also for a championship. It was for the BA middleweight championship. But like, there's been championship cards that didn't had or co-main before. I think it was on the card that I went to watch Errol Spence versus Yordenis Ugas. The opening fight was, I forget who, but it was for a champion. It was for I think a BA or BO welterweight belt, because I think they were in the same class as Ugas and Errol Spence. So like I get it. They both have drawing power to their name, but you have to understand that these two fighters are not the same. Not very.
They're not as active.
Yeah, not as active, and they're not like viewer friendly to like an average boxing watcher or like a Yeah, a casual. The Caleb Plant fight versus Trevor McCumbee fight. That.
It was a lot more action packed.
Yeah, it was a lot more action packed. It was a little sloppy at times, but that's kind of what makes that fight entertaining is that you didn't know what was going to happen because the entire fight Caleb Plant was pretty much teeing off on Trevor McCumbee, but McCumbee, dude, that dude's got an iron chin. He wouldn't go down for nothing. And Caleb Plant would get rocked from things that McCumbee was throwing at him because he was still, trying to pull something out of it. Yeah, I think Caleb Plant got knocked down in that fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he got knocked down, and then like 2 rounds after he won, 2 or 3 rounds after.
Yeah, he got the TKO in 9, the corner stoppage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a good fight to watch. The Raleigh fight was okay. He won by UD. Stephen Fulton gets a split decision over Carlos Castro. That was a pretty decent fight too. Romain Villa versus Ricardo Salas. That one was the 1-4. 3rd round knockout. That one was fun to see. And then Jonathan Lopez versus Richard Medina. Another unanimous decision win for Jonathan Lopez. But the main event, Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. What did you think of the fight? What did you think of the walkouts?
Wasn't like the same walkout that Canelo always does, like with all the
pageantry
and all that. But it was kind of he had JOP or Fuerza Regida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had the whole band.
Yeah, he had the whole band there actually. His entrance was fine, I guess. But Berlanga's, you gotta turn the mics off next time, bro. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the way. Who was it that walked him out?
Arcangel.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. He should have just lip sync.
Yeah. Lip sync.
Lip sung.
Mm-hmm.
Lip singed. But the fight itself.
If we're rating it, I'd give it like a good 8 out of 10.
In comparison to like just all fights ever, or just Canelo fights.
Everything in the history of everything.
An 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I wanted to see. I don't know. I felt like I wanted to see.
8 out of 10.
I just wanted to see him get knocked out, and that.
I thought maybe more like a 6 out of 10.
Oh really?
It was fun to watch, but in terms of a good fight, no, it wasn't.
No,
because an 8 out of 10 to me
like
is something like a. Like I'd put like.
Whose fight would you put at 8 out of 10?
8 out of 10.
From right now, not from like back then.
Like a recent 8 out of 10?
Yeah. Because knowing you, you'd be like, oh, Marcus Vasquez.
8 out of 10. Like Bam's
recently,
last fight, I would say is an 8 out of 10.
Bam's last fight.
He got knocked down, I think.
Oh, yes.
Right? He got knocked down in his last fight?
Yeah,
He got knocked down and then knocked him out?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, come on. And then even in a way, his last fight, or the fight before his last fight, he also got knocked down and came back. I think that was against Stephen Fulton, too. He got knocked down and came back and knocked him out. Like, I think... I didn't watch that one, actually. I'm just saying. But I think that Bam fight, that was a very good fight. And I think that was closer to an 8 out of 10 than this. Because there was actual, like... I actually got worried. This fight... Mm-hmm. It was a very entertaining fight in comparison to... what I thought I was going to see. I thought this was going to end early.
Yeah,
but Berlanga's got a chin on him. That kid's got heart. And you can't say anything but that. Like, he stayed in it the entire time. And he went up against the Dragon and took everything he had. That first knockdown I thought was going to be the end of it. What was it, like the 2nd or 3rd round? Yeah, the 3rd round. It was the 3rd round. Yeah, because remember Frank called it and I was like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he ended up getting back up and he stayed in. And I thought maybe the corner was going to throw in the towel or something, but...
It looked like it, like in the 9th, 10th round.
Yeah.
They were like considering it. They told him to wake up.
Yeah. He's like, oh. Hello.
True.
But, yeah, Canelo got the win, unanimous decision. He just backed him up and ate him alive in the corner. And, that was pretty much...
The corner was, like, where he was having trouble. Like, Canelo was
yeah,
good there.
the one place from the start of the fight, his corner, like his cornerman told him not to be, was stationary in the corner. And he ended it ended it. He ended every single round pretty much stationary in the corner.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot to learn, but
I did feel like, well, yeah, like it wasn't that easy. It wasn't like easy for Canelo to fight him.
no, I feel like Berlanga's. Did you see how much he weighed on fight night? It was like 190 something. He gained like 20 something pounds.
Dude, okay, that's a question that I have because I see that a
Rehydration?
lot. Yes, I see that a lot with Alex Pereira from
Yeah.
UFC. How does that work? You weigh in, you're a certain weight, that's your weight class.
Yep.
But then you can gain it back in water weight?
Yep. Because everything that they lose and everything that they drop, or a majority of everything that they drop going into weigh in is water weight. That's why you see them in like those sweat bags and like those sweatsuits and like in saunas like right before. That's why they look so drained when they're weighing in, because they have almost no hydration in them and they're like on the verge of dying. Like damn near. That's why you see a lot of fighters wear sunglasses when they're weighing in, because their eyes are so sunken in they look like they're like on the verge of death.
Oh, like Tony?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you weigh in at like 160.
Mm-hmm.
But the next day you're fighting and you're weighing in at like
180 something.
yeah. So how does that?
Well,
Why? You know what I mean?
because you could. This is boxing specific. I don't think they had this in the UFC, but you could have a no rehydration clause. Remember, that's what happened with Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis.
Yeah. Doesn't Jake Paul and Mike Tyson like their contract details are like very one-sided?
I would assume. I would assume it's one-sided towards Jake.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, they could add a no rehydration clause so that you're not inflating on fight night. Like what Berlanga did here, because that's how you get like weight bullies. Guys that are way bigger fighting at super small weight classes.
Oh, okay.
But then you got guys like Canelo that's like 5'7" fighting 175 pounders. Guys that are weighing in on not fight night, weighing in on weigh-in days 175 and coming in on fight night 2 something. Like Sergey Kovalev.
Yeah.
That's a massive man. He's not weighing 170. He's not walking around at 175. I walk around at 175.
You walk around at 175?
Yeah. Now imagine Sergey Kovalev. He's not walking around at 175.
Nah.
Canelo actually might be walking around at 175. With how thick he is.
Yeah.
He's short, but he's got a lot of muscle.
Yeah, I thought Berlanga looked huge.
Yeah, dude, he looked massive.
Huge.
He looked
I was a
in
little
comparison
worried.
to Canelo. But then again, you got to consider. I was gonna say like his fight against Bivol was kind of like the same thing, but I don't even think that Bivol looked that big comparison
Jamie
to how big
Munguia was.
he looked. Big too,
Yeah.
but I think he was just like taller, maybe.
Munguia's fighting again.
He is. I thought because he hasn't fought since the Canelo fight.
No.
Berlanga has a big back, like a very wide back, like a linebacker. But that is a very big man. Now the last. This
You're
past
just like
Sunday, I went to the Live Golf event in Chicago in the Bolingbrook Golf Club with my brother from another mother, Flacco. That was that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I got there before he did, so I got to scope out the place. And as soon as you walk in, there's just like a bunch of food trucks. There's a bar in the middle. There's a bunch of like golf games, like putting games and chipping games. And there was a pitching game for some reason. There's a big stage with the screen showing like the main feed. There was like lounge chairs. And I was just in this one area. And you walk out of there and you start walking towards where all the golf courses is, and you're passing the driving range, and like all the golfers and all their teams, they had their own little slots, and there were some guys, warming up and stuff. You can see them, but there was just, crowds of people around there. So I kind of just glanced. They had a big merch store that had like no merch in it, and it was literally just like T-shirts and hats, and because like I wanted to get like I don't know,
Like a hoodie or something?
no, they had hoodies. That was the thing. They only had like big items. I wanted to get like ball markers or tees or
like something you'd use in golfing.
something.
Like,
No,
hey, I got this at the golf event.
I wanted to get something for the boys. Like I wanted to get some like cool
Oh.
stuff, like little things because we like to golf. So I want to get maybe Jose like a Crushers because that's a Bryson DeChambeau's team. I want to get him like a Crushers ball marker or something. They had like no Crushers gear. Like they were sold out of hats because they're like probably the biggest team. But yeah, they had like nothing that was reasonable for me to get like a lot of. I wasn't gonna spend,
Just pull up.
drop a bag. I got
Everybody
17
gets a
hats,
new
32,
new
32
wardrobe for
hoodies.
everybody.
Yeah,
Shout
like
out, gang.
literally that's all I could do was buy for my wardrobe, and I got a hat. I got a
The
hat.
smash hat
Yeah, the smash hat.
that you already dirty.
It's not dirty. It's just
It's stinky. Same thing.
no, it's not. It just has a sweat stain.
Right,
Smash
that's
Golf
better.
Club. That's Brooks Koepka's team. I don't really like Brooks Koepka like that. I just thought the cat was cool, or the Smash team.
He's a fake fan.
Yeah, I am. I'm a DeChambeau guy. I'll admit it. I'm a Crushers guy, but that was a cool hat. And it's dirty now anyway, so now I can only use it like at the gym or when I go golfing. So, haha, joke's on you. But yeah, John Rahm ended up winning that tournament, but also winning the individual season championship at that day. So that was a pretty like big deal to be there, you know?
Yeah, I thought you guys were going.
You thought we were golfing?
No, I thought you guys were going to like a conference or like it was just like a little meet and greet. Type
Oh,
vibe.
like oh,
I
okay.
didn't realize you were going to
Watch pro golf.
like a game essentially.
Yeah.
What do you call that? Like it's not a game. It's like
Event. I guess a tournament. No,
Tournament?
it's not really a tournament.
kind of.
Yeah, a tournament. A live golf tournament. Yeah, John Rahm won. And it was kind of cool. Like I said, I got there before Flacco, so I had to figure out how to like navigate through it. So I went to the first hole for the first tee off. It was a shotgun start. So what that means is every hole, someone or like a group of guys were there. So then they all start at the same time. So then they all pretty much follow each other, and then they play 18 holes. So they don't end exactly 1 through 18. You can start on hole 2, and then you end on hole 1 instead of ending on hole 18 because you had to go past 18 and play one more to get the full 18 holes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at who was playing where. Joaquin Niemann, he was like in contention with John Rahm for the season championship. So if he had won this event, he would have won this. It was basically them two fighting for the season championship. Everyone else was there for like getting points for their teams and stuff because there's also like it's kind of like F1.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can win the individual championship, but there's also the team championship.
Mm-hmm.
So guys are also there playing for their teams and getting points for their teams. But it was pretty much Wacko versus Ram for the season championship that day. So I went to the first tee to watch Wacko tee off with
Wacko.
Yeah.
Flacco.
Wacko Flacco with I think Ian Poulter and someone else. I feel bad for forgetting who it was because he was also a pretty big name. But Ian Poulter teed off with Wacko on hole 1, and then I was checking my phone to see where DeChambeau was, where Ram was, and I was like, wow, these guys are all over the place. So I wanted to go see Bryson first, so I saw that he started on hole 3. And let me tell you first, there was a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I heard walking in that was the first, not the first, but that was the only day of the 3-day tournament that completely sold out of GA passes. So there was a lot of people on the course. So like even when on the first tee when they did the tee off, like I could barely see. I had to like stand on my tippy toes and hold my phone up and just to get a good angle. So I saw that Bryson started on hole 3, so I had to figure out, okay, how am I gonna see this guy? I want to see this guy, launch the ball, boom. That's what he's known for.
Yeah.
So I was like, hole 3. So if I go to hole 3 now, he just teed off. He's gonna be ending hole 3, so I should just walk straight to hole 4. And that was my plan. So I walked straight to hole 4, and I didn't realize how long the walk was gonna be, dude. By the end of the day, my legs are shaking.
And you still had to drive. Like,
Yeah,
all the way back?
I drove all the way back to school that day. My legs are still sore from Sunday.
Yeah.
It was a lot of walking, a lot of up and down hills, and it was crazy.
And on the grass.
Yeah, it was like smart to stay off the grass and walk on the path because it was just bad. Like there was a bunch of old people there too. Imagine them.
Oh my God, behind them.
I should push them out the way, but
They're just all rolling.
yeah, but yeah. So pretty much for anyone that has interest in going to a pro golf event, that's pretty much the move. If you want to see someone, and it's a shotgun start. If you want to see someone or you like play, it's smart to pretty much go a hole ahead or a hole and a fairway ahead. So if someone like in my situation, if I wanted to see Bryson, he was on hole 3. I ended up going to the green of hole 4 and waited for him there, watched him putt. And then as I was going to the tee box of hole 5, there was already a crowd of people there because they were doing what I was doing and, getting there early to watch him tee off. Because that's the big thing. People want to watch him hit driver.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm like, all right. So now my whole thing is I want to watch him hit driver. So then I go to hole 3, which is a par. No, not hole 3. Hole 6, which is a par 3. So he doesn't hit driver there, obviously. But then I go to hole 7. I skip hole 3. I keep saying hole 3. I skip hole 6, which is the par 3. Go straight to the tee box of par 7. And I sit there, and there's nobody really there. And I just sit there and wait. And then he finally gets there, and like by that point, there's a bunch of people around me. And then he pulls up, and he's coming up, and you just like it's pretty quiet. And you just hear a guy go, "Bryson, pull the driver," because it's like 440 yards, and he drives it like 390, 400 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, people want to see him hit driver. So then, like, he's like, going by his clubs, and he's like, talking to his caddy, and he yanks the driver out, and the crowd goes, "Ah!" It was awesome, dude. He smashes it, and yeah, it was great. And then at the end, so John Ram, I think, started a little after Joaquin on hole 1. So like Joaquin played hole 1, and then, but yeah, Rambo started right behind Waco's group. So then, when Joaquin finished on 18, like Flaco and I got to hole 18 when John Ram's group was still on hole 16. And the crowd at hole 18 was insane, dude. Like, we had to, like, sit back and, like, stand way back on a hill just to see where the green was.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the rope line that, like, tells people it's not moving was pretty much right where the fairway was. So, like, so, like, imagine this is the fairway going straight across this way, and this is the line right here. It was, like, you could get right up to where the fairway was.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd of people for where, like, the fairway was, and say this is the green where the hole is, from, like, way back here, dude, this is the tee box, way back here to like way up there. Usually the crowd of people is only by the green. The entire line of where the fairway was to the tee box to the green was just full of people, about like, I'd say like 20 to 40 yards back, depending on how close you got to the green.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could not see a thing if you tried to get anywhere close. So Flaco and I kind of tried to play it smart. We're like, oh, we'll stand on this hill. We can see the greens a little bit. We'll watch them putt in. And then we noticed that there's like an army of high school security guards, like a bunch of kids that look like they like volunteered to be security or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were getting talked to by the police, and the police, like, I guess they're making a game plan or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start moving after Rambo and all the guys hit on the green. So they're all moving towards the green.
Mm-hmm.
Then this group of security guards, like a whole line of them, goes onto the fairway. And then I just see like one of them like open the rope. And then people start running.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what's going on? So I start running. No, I didn't even start running. I started walking towards that way. So what happened was they grabbed the rope from where it was on, blocking people from getting onto the fairway.
Mm-hmm.
And they moved it. So now, like, people can pretty much surround the entire green. So people were on the fairway. So when I realized that was happening, the rope was still there kind of. But, like, they opened, like, one section of it to signal that, okay, you guys are free to go in. And I, like, hurdled the rope. I was, like, from walking. I was just walking, hurdled the rope, and then sprinted. And then I hear Flaco in the back go, oh, and then he just starts sprinting. And, like, Flaco was already, like, really sore because he played soccer that morning, too.
Yeah, bro.
So I felt bad. Like, as soon as he caught up to me, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot,
Yeah.
like, you almost pulled
You
your
had
hammy
to carry
playing.
him all the way over there, bro.
I almost did. But, yeah, they put a new rope right, not against the green, but, like, pretty close to the green. And because we sprinted, we got pretty close. We were right on the rope. And, we recorded Rambo hit his winning putt, won the championship, and the crowd goes crazy, and it was fun. It was awesome.
Damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a very fun event. I would recommend going to a professional golf event. I feel like it'd definitely be different if I went to a PGA event because they're a lot more serious, very proper, and I'd even say a little pretentious about their golf. Live golf is, like they say, golf, but louder. Everyone, at every tee box, they're playing music. Obviously, people aren't talking. It seems like it's still, there's still golf etiquette. You don't, scream or something or say something as someone's teeing off or as someone's putting.
Mm-hmm.
But, they got music in the background. People are having a good time. People partying. Well, not like partying, but, it's a good time. It was fun. But, all right. Yeah, that was our weekend. That was our reactions to everything that happened. But we went through what the Prairie Stars are up to and what the house settlement's up to. Thank you guys for listening. That was week 3. We'll be back next week with more updates on what's happening and what could be happening and updates on the Prairie Stars and things like that.
Mhm.
Adios.
Bye.